This conference will now be recorded.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Doug Smith. It is Wednesday at 2:30, so it is time for our Monday through Thursday 2:30 podcast. This is the podcast where you will hear the science about what actually happened in the opioid crisis. And if you've been following us for a while, you know I am writing the book. Will I finish the first draft in the next 10 days? It's going to be close. I'm on it. I'm getting there. Okay, I want this book out there. I want this book published. I want this book available. This book is a pathway to our first mass tort lawsuits. I want the first mass tort lawsuits filed. And if you take a look at the screen there, you know, this is what it's all about. Okay, the type of mass tort lawsuit that we are looking to file is what's called a defective product. Okay, this is what's called product liability. Okay, the specific product liability that we're looking at is known as failure to warn. That's what this is called. It's failure to warn. If somebody had warned you that the opioids would damage your DNA, and that once your DNA was damaged, the damage would be permanent and inheritable, and when you tried to stop taking the opioids, you develop a sickness unlike anything you've ever experienced in your life, there's a pretty good chance you'd stop taking the opioids. Okay, that's what's called informed consent. Okay, and if the risk is known, if the potential damage is known, if the side effect is known, and this one was, no doubt about it, okay, then the pharmaceutical companies have an obligation to warn. That warning must reach the prescribing physicians. They are what are called the learned intermediaries. Okay, it's their job to explain the risk to you. Okay, but if the pharmaceutical companies do not issue the warning, and the learned intermediary never receives the warning, and you never get the warning, and yet the risk was known, the potential damage was known, that's product liability. That's failure to warn. Okay, it's an open and shut case. And what I'm doing now in the book is I'm going through the overwhelming amount of scientific evidence that these companies had an obligation to warn you. Okay, and one of the things that really stands out, it just breaks your heart. Okay, study after study after study after study. Okay, this wasn't a side effect of the opioids. This was a consequence. Everybody who took the opioids developed the genetic poisoning. Okay, and if they took the opioids long enough, everybody developed the sickness. A side effect will happen in some people, but not others. Maybe you'll get it, maybe you won't. And most side effects are pretty rare. This wasn't a side effect. This was a consequence. If you take the opioids, you will get genetic damage. If you take the opioids long enough, you will get enough genetic damage that when you try to stop taking the opioids, you will get sick. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay, if you were calling in a roll of the dice, well, all the dice had were snake eyes. All six sides of the dice just had a one. There's no way around getting it. Looks like it's about 100 doses in a row. Okay, that's my back of the envelope calculation. It's like about 100 doses in a row. When you're talking about something like the OxyContin 20 or higher. Okay, it looks like about 100 doses in a row. Which if you're taking it, 3 times a day, which is what most people did, that's a month. Doesn't take that long. Now your life is permanently changed. And by 1990, the Dell study and the Chang study, they're in the book. By 1990, it was obvious. Everybody that takes the opioids gets sick. That was 1990. OxyContin was approved in 1995. That's the fascinating thing. The Dell and Chang studies, which showed that the opioids should be severely limited, they were in 1990, and that the opioids should have the most severe warnings. The Dell and Chang study showed the adrenaline toxicity. So the opioid should have been associated with the strictest of warnings, the harshest of labeling. Okay, that was 1990, but instead of the harshest of labeling, we get OxyContin approved in 1995. What happened between 1990 and 1995 that the science could be ignored? And the only answer I can come up with is that in 1992, the funding for opioid research was transferred from the NIH, National Institute of Health, over to NIDA, the National Institute of Drug Abuse, which was headed up by a bunch of what I call dog food servers. Okay, these were the psychiatrists and their ridiculous dopamine theory of addiction and brain disease model of addiction, which maybe it's true for alcohol, cocaine, amphetamines. I don't know. I don't care. But it's not true for the opioids. And I'm thinking maybe when the psychiatrists got their hands on the money and the control in 1992, I'm thinking they just possibly became useful idiots to the pharmaceutical industry, and they got OxyContin approved. Otherwise, please explain to me how you get OxyContin approved after the Dell and Chang studies showed that not some people got a sickness, everybody did. It's just mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling. But stay with us. We will go through this line by line, study by study. Okay. We will get this book published. We will get this the sales of this book up. Okay. If you want to be one of our lamplighters, if you want to be one of the pathfinders, if you want to be one of the first people to file a mass tort lawsuit against the pharmaceutical manufacturers and really the entire chain, distribution chain, everybody that touched the opioids. If you touch the opioids, you got liability. Whether you're a manufacturer, wholesaler, distributor, retailer, doesn't matter. Okay. The prescribers actually probably get a hall pass because, well, they weren't warned. Failure to warn impacted them also. But everybody else, no. This science was out there. You had an obligation. Okay, and it's not like the science was hidden. This was easy to find science. So let's hold there for today. Please, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to us. Don't forget to post this podcast on your social media and everybody else's social media. We will be back tomorrow at 2:30. Everybody have a great day. Thank you and goodbye. And thank you, Alex, for everything that you do.